Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Before we begin, I would like it if you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified for new videos. And also check out my social medias down in the description and the pinned comment. Now onto the video. Today I'm doing a video around Olivia Mobilized for War. I know there are better vampire commanders, but I'm doing one based on her, mainly for nostalgia. So, she is a vampire knight for one of any, a black and a red. She has 3 power and toughness and flank. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, it gets a +1/+1 counter, haste, and it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. So she can turn anything that comes in under your control a vampire and stronger. So my deck is generally vampires, and I do run like some non-vampires, so there's some use for her abilities. Like always, I'm going to start with the ramp. So first I got Pillar of Fortune, which says, as Pillar of Fortunes enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. So it's a mana rock that can, in this deck, only tap for vampire spells. Next is Ragdoll's Signet. What it does is that you pay 1 mana and you tap it to add 2 mana. 1 of each of the Ragdoll's colors pair. So black and red, I should have said that. Next is Ragdoll's Locket, which taps for either black or red, or you can pay 4 mana, with each of them being either a black or a red, and tap it, sack it, and you draw 2 cards. Next, in terms of helping cast more spells, I'm running 1 Bontu's Monument. It says black creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. It's in here because of the life drain ability and because it makes most of my creatures cost cheaper. Next is Herald's Horn. It has a similar, it's kind of similar to Bontu's Monument and Pillar of Fortune, where you choose a creature type and creature spells that you cast cost 1 less to cast. It also lets you look at the top of your library during your upkeep, and if it's, in this case, a vampire, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Next is the Immortal Sun. It says players can't activate Planeswalker loyalty abilities. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and creatures you control get +1/+1. So not only is it an anthem, but it makes our stuff cheaper, helps us draw cards, and it stops super friends. Next up, I have some searches. I have Vampiric Tutor for flavor, and also, even though it loses us 2 life, we do have ways of gaining some life. What it does is it searches your library for a card, and we shuffle our library and put that card on top. Next is Mastermind's Acquisition and Diabolic Tutor. In this deck, they're essentially the same. For 2 of any and 2 black, you search your library for a card and put it into your hand. Next, for some card draw, I have Sign in Blood. It says target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life for 2 black. Next is Pact of the Serpent. What this is, for an extra mana to Sign in Blood, you choose a creature type, which in this case is vampire, and you can make you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of creatures we control of the chosen type. Next is Champion of Dusk. What it does is, when it enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. So even though they all lose this life, since we're vampires, we get to gain them back, that life back. For example, here are some generic vampires that we are running. First up, it is what I believe it's called Batman. It's Vampire Nighthawk for 3 mana. It has Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. So when we deal damage with it, we still gain life. Next is Vampire Envoy, which when it becomes tapped, you gain a life. And Crossway Troublemakers, which gives attacking vampires you control Death Touch and Lifelink, as well as when a vampire you control dies, you may pay 2 life, and if you do, draw a card. Next are some pump effects. First is Strong Cook Captain. It has First Strike, as well as giving your other vampires +1/+1 and First Strike. Next is Vanquish's Banner. It's like all the other cards that I'm playing. You choose a creature type, in this case vampire. They get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a vampire spell, you draw a card. Next is Brass Herald. When it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 4 cards of your library, and you can put all creature cards of the chosen type, revealed this way, into your hand and rest at the bottom. In this deck, it's vampires, and it gives them +1/+1. Next are some Life Drainers. First is Sanctum Seeker. It has whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So we consist a type of like 10 vampires. Each opponent loses 10 and we gain 10. Next is Revenge of Ravens. It essentially does the kind of the opposite of Sanctum Seeker. In the case of whenever an opponent attacks us, they lose a life and we gain a life. Next is Blood Artist, which activates whenever a creature dies, and it's more targeted. Nextly, I'm going to go over the removal. First, I'm playing Olivia's Wrath. What it does is, it makes each non-vampire creature get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of vampires you control. So, if we do it right, it can be a board wipe for non-vampires. Next is Animon the Ruin Sage. I consider it removal because it says at the beginning of your upkeep, each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature. So, assuming we're facing against decks that do not run vampires, they would have to sacrifice a non-vampire. And next is Midnight Arsonist, which says when it enters the battlefield, destroy up to X target artifacts without mana abilities, where X is the number of vampires you control. Lastly, I'm going to go for a win condition for the deck. This is similar to the Lisa deck that I did a while ago, where it's the Found Bloodlord. He says, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses damage life. So, let's say we have the Sanctum Seeker out. For this, I'm going to say 10 vampires again. We attack with 10 vampires. Each opponent loses 10, we gain 10. And because of the Found Bloodlord, we get to make someone lose 10 more life. Next is Blood Tribute. It has Kicker, tap and untap vampire you control. So what that means is, you may tap a vampire you control, in addition to any other costs as you cast a spell. And what it does is, target opponent loses half their life rounded up, and if this was kicked, you gain that much life. So combine that with the Found Bloodlord means you can essentially knock someone out. And it's especially great with Vampire Envoy, just in case somebody has an odd life total, because Vampire Envoy gains your life whenever it becomes tapped. So let's say somebody has gained a life, so they're 41. You cast Blood Tribute, tap the Vampire Envoy, you gain a life, the opponent loses a life, then they'll lose 20, you gain 20, then they will lose the remaining 20. So that's it for the cards that I would say that would help with showing you what I would run in the deck. in terms of what we'll get the gamer approval sticker, as I'm gonna call it now. It would probably be the Stormcloak captain. Probably for the simple factor of it just being a in archetype, in tribal way of pumping up, without it needing to say, as this enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Because those cards can be put into any tribal deck. Whereas Stormcloak Captain, it just lets you give vampires +1/+1. I would have gave it to Vampire Tutor for flavor, but I don't want to give the game approval sticker to anything just because of flavor. Like, I want it to be like emotive for my Simic Big Spell stack that has Kuruga as a companion. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for future videos, and I will see you next time. Also, check out my social medias. Thank you for watching. Bye.